Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the 10 basic controls of MS Word, things that beginners will need to get started with MS Word. Now we have already discussed about the font, about changing the font, which we did in the last, if I'm correct, yes, we did in the previous video. So in that video we discussed about changing the font and the font size and the font color. So if you haven't watched it, you can just check it out. The links in the description below. So without further ado, let's get started. So number one, making text bold, italic, or underlined. Okay, so this is one of the most basic controls that you'll need. So changing a word or a sentence or a text bold is very easy. You can just select them, drag, left click and drag the mouse, and then click on bold. So usually when you select the text, a dialog box like this comes out. So you can just use them directly from here, on, off, on, off, like that. It's like a switch. Now for the for making it italic, go to the left or go to the right. Then you have this I, on, off, on, off. Now for underlining it, the same thing, on, off, on, off. Now, especially for underline, we have options, which we won't find in the dialog box. So we have to go up here. We have this drop down button on the right side. Just click there. You have these options for underlining the text. So these are some options. So that was number one. Now, number two, using strike through. Strike through is it is the way let's about it's like striking through text like this. I'll just show you. You'll better understand when you see it. So here's the button, just click it and it'll be on. Now this is strike through. So this it is a way of saying that this text is wrong. You did not mean to write this, but you have written it and so you have got it, but you want the reader to see, not to write. So this is how we use the strike through. So the same thing with the bold, italic, and underline, just on, off. You just have to click. So when it is grayish, when the shade is grayish, it's on. When there's no shade, it's off. Okay, so that was how to use the strike through. Coming to number three, using subscript and superscript. So these controls are on the same line of the as this. So this is the subscript, which looks like x2 and then x to the power 2. So these two are the subscript and superscript respectively. So to use them, you just have to select them, or you can just write as we do, like let's write second. So 2 subscript and d, that is second. Now first 1 and then superscript as d, that is first. So that is how we use the superscript. Now for the subscript, it is the same thing, the text will go down. Usually in maths equations, we get these formulas, x2 or x1. So we use this subscript. Click here and then you just type x1, x2, or let's say x25. It's your choice. So this is how we use the subscript. So there's a shortcut for these two. To make a text subscript, you can use the keyboard. We have a shortcut key, which is control and equal. When you press control and equal, it becomes a subscript. Now to make this superscript, we have another control. You press control shift and the equal button, then we get this superscript. So we use shift because in the equal button we have this plus when we click on shift. So that is how it is. So that was how to make a text subscript or superscript. Just click on them to deactivate it, just like those. It's like a switch. Now let's come to number 4, change case option. So changing the case. So we are familiar about two case. First is the lowercase and the uppercase, which is small letter and capital letter. So we can change the case up here. Next to shrink button, next to shrink option, we have this change case option. Click here, then you get these 5 options. First one is the sentence case, which is the normal, like this, a typical case. And then we get this lowercase. Here everything is in the lowercase. And then we have this uppercase, everything is in capital. Now we have this capitalized each word case. Now in here, the first letter of each word will be in capital letter. See? Okay, now the next one is toggle case. Toggle case. So toggle case is the opposite. The beginning letter will be in small letter, but the following letters will be in capital letter. So that was how to change the case. So let's change it back to sentence case. Now coming to number 5, using text effect. Now keep this in mind, in the older versions of Microsoft Word, you have no text effect. You have no text effect. Sorry, my battery is running out. So anyway, let's continue. In the previous versions, we have no text effect. But in the newer versions, we get this button, this option. This is called the text effect option. Just click here, and then we have this. This is the same as the word art, but with extras, with extra options. So come to text effect. We have this, the first one, which is the outline. We have an outline, which is basically the like this. Here's the text, this is the fill, and there's the outline. So we can change the outline color. Let's change it to red. Let's change it to red. Now it looks red. Now let's just change the text color to white. Now you'll see. Now this is their font size is small, so it's hard to notice. When we increase the font size, we can see the change. So the inner color is white, and the outline is red. So that was the first one. The next one is shadow. We can create a shadow. First is we have three options. I mean three categories: outer shadow, inner shadow, and perspective. So outer shadow is like the shadow on the outside. On the outside, it makes it look like the thing is solid. So we have this left, right, center. So these are some of the options. Let's just use this one. So here we have this slightly small shadow around here. So that was one of those ways. Let's select them again. Now we have reflection. For reflection, the shadow, the inner one, the shadow will be on the inside, not the outside. So inside, top left. Now this time the shadow is in the inside, though it is too small to be noticeable. Anyway, the two categories, the difference is on the when you choose the shadows that are on the outer category, the shadows will be formed outside, and when you choose from the inner category, the shadows will be formed inside. Now when you choose these perspective shadows, it'll be, as you have guessed it, based on perspective. Now let's come to reflection. We have this, the intensity, the further we go down, the intensity grows. All right, and then the when you go up here, the intensity is small. So the first one is touching. Touching, that means the shadow will touch the letter. Now the next one is also touching but half reflection. This one is also this one is the touching and then the reflection. So the text, the reflection is touching the text. Now we have the other one, which is touching but half. Now before, the reflection was only a quarter. Now the reflection, it is reflecting up to half the text. Now the last one, this is touching and full reflection. So now this time the reflection is full and it's touching. Now we have other options also. We have this 4 points option, that means it is not touching. This one is just too far down. See, they are not touching by 8 pixels, 8 points, not pixels, sorry, 8 points. Now this one is 4 points. This will be a bit closer but not touching. It's not touching. Some of them are touching, but still that their difference is 4 points. So those are some of the use, some of the styles that we can choose. So those were the three basics one. Now we have the last one, that is glow, to make the text glow. Since it is, we can make them glow according to their color, but since it is red, let's use this pinkish glow. So we have this glow. So that is the number fifth, using text effect.